And now we can do a proper intro for the half pint because we haven't done that in forever.
We've never done one, have we?
I think we did in the beginning, maybe, yeah, when we were young and overambitious.
Do you want to do a proper intro?
For the half pint?
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I would start.
Welcome to the half pint.
Done!
Nailed it. First take.
Nailed it. All right. You need to go and pee? Any one of you?
No, I'm all good.
More drinks? No?
No, fine.
I should get a drink. Okay, no, maybe not.
I got a notification in the post on my email today saying I was going to get something in the post from you, Haavard.
Yes.
And I've got a good idea what it was, but the only thing I'm confused about is when it arrives, when am I allowed to open it? Because you got a bit pissed off at me last time you sent me a present.
No, this one you can open up whenever you feel like it, but just realize that when you open it, you've basically started a new project. So, yeah.
Okay.
Open it wisely.
Fair
but
enough.
it is kind of nice though. Maybe you should do that as a, I don't know what it's called in English when you're like live following a case over several days, but I should basically post the same package to both of you, but shell out so I get the full tracking number, and then we can do like, all right, it now at the customs and now it's at the border, and then after 2 years, KJ's is probably handed over at PostNord for further, whatever they do.
It would be worth paying for tracking just to see where KJ's packages go, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and you could. I've seen people do that. They've sent packages to weird addresses and just putting an air tag in them. And I think you can get an air tag now for £20, maybe. I mean, it's a bit excessive, but I mean, for a good cause, it would have been nice to just air tag a package and send it to KJ just to see where the fuck do they send them in all that time? Do they have do PostNord have a base in Antarctica where they have to route all their packages through? I don't know.
Each package has to be checked by a penguin individually before it gets moved on.
Yeah.
Might be.
But that also got me thinking here the other day. I mean, I just put in an order at our friends over at AliExpress. And I can spend hours there just browsing because people who bought this also bought that. And then you just click and you fall down into this rabbit hole. And there is a lot of kind of funny but very cheap crap out there. And what I haven't tried on AliExpress is to order something, but just check that mark for different address for shipping and then just send crap to people just... Because I've realized that on all the shipping labels, it's in Chinese, right? So you don't really know what's in it. You don't know who sent it. It's hardly stated who is it for. So, I mean, you're kind of home free just sending stuff to people.
Yeah. How does your AliExpress emails look like when you're sent? Oh, this might interest you. Emails, because you've bought a lot of different things. I mean, for me, it's like 90% tool battery related, because I mostly bought that kind of thing. So they are quite boring because they don't know me.
It is eclectic. I can say that. But there is a lot of electronics components, speakers, amplifiers, controllers, radio controlled, pneumatic. So it's a lot of like mechanics, electronics. But sometimes I've been looking into a spinning top and a yo-yo and a cap with glasses in. I bought that one because they look bloody awesome, and it was child size, and just had to directly hand it over to my kids. But they were pleased for 5 minutes until they lost interest. So
Speaking of radio controlled, this is something that's been bothering me the last couple of days, because when the weather was nice, I thought, yeah, I get my remote controlled car out. That would be fun to drive around.
Oh, cool.
And then it didn't work. And but it's really I'm really annoyed with it because I can't figure out what the problem is. It might be, I think it's something to do with the controller for the motor. But because the servo works fine, I can steer, but as soon as I give it some throttle, it just stops working. And the motor spins fine by itself, and the controller gives out the correct voltage and that sort of thing. And if I sneakily start it, it works, but I can't drive the car with it. So it's kind of like an overcurrent protection or something like that kicking in.
There's probably a reset on it or something on the ESC. Is there?
I haven't found anything, and I mean it's not an expensive remote control car, and I've looked into buying a new receiver, and that cost like almost as much as I paid for the car, so I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
And every component in that receiver thingy is more or less drenched in glue or epoxy, so you can't really do any electronics maintenance on it either.
So it's a toy grade one, not a hobby grade car.
It's the lowest end hobby grade, I would say.
Right.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, I was too young to basically actively participate, but I probably helped getting glue on parts that my father needed to clean up. But we built a radio-controlled boat, and that was in the 80s. So of course all the parts were mechanical, and you had all these old-style crystals in the radio and receiver and whatnot. And of course, I wanted to redo it, and some of the parts were missing and broken and so on. And I realized instead of spending a lot of money on those parts, I just bought a radio control boat basically and gutted that for parts and used the radio control and just swapped that over. And that might even be the solution here, instead of trying to spend too much time finding an error and then buying parts and whatnot. You can just buy a boat probably for half the price and just swap everything over.
Yeah, but that's not fun either. So I mean, my thinking is I will probably not find the real problem, but I mean, since it's actually giving out a voltage that I could use, I could maybe put a relay in there so it doesn't have to drive the motor, just start the motor and make that run. But then I had my second problem, because I can't for the life of me find my box of relays. I knew exactly where it was when they were in the cupboard that I took down and put up my tool wall. But I've looked everywhere in my workshop and I can't find that cardboard box where they were.
How many do you need? I got 25. If that sounds like an oddly specific number, it's because it is.
Because I had this. I hope I still have it, but I can't figure out where box. And they got some relays and some power modules, and most importantly, some Nixie tubes. You know, those old Soviet-style glowing numbers that are like a light bulb with numbers in it. That looks really steampunky and cool.
Fun fact about those, they don't make them anymore. So they're becoming increasingly more expensive. I mean, it's not a big enough market for anyone to produce them anymore. But there is a few companies in Russia who made them that have a big surplus, so they're selling them out. But of course, they have become popular now for people making like DIY projects and whatnot, YouTube subscriber counters and whatnot. So they're getting exponentially more expensive by the week.
Yeah, these are definitely some kind of Soviet surplus. and I want to use them for some kind of project, but now I can't even find them, so that's really annoying. I've put them someplace intelligent, I think, but I can't remember where that is.
Just when you put them away, you're more intelligent than you are now.
Yes. I mean, that's the
Too smart
thing
for
when
your
you
own good.
when you're doing some kind of work and you're standing on a stool or a ladder. Oh yeah, this is a good place to put down a screwdriver, and then you step down from that ladder and you can't figure out where the heck that screwdriver is. And you put it on top of a wardrobe or something like that, or it's so annoying.
That being said, though, I've ordered more recorders,
Ooh.
but it's
Regular
not...
ones?
Sorry?
Regular recorders?
Yeah. Or I bought some see-through ones, and it's not for the hellquarter. I'm gonna make a... I'm not sure what it's called yet, but it's gonna be a rocket fuel powered air raid siren made out of recorders, and it's gonna be a one-time use because they're gonna melt in the process. But yeah, I'm gonna make a air raid siren with a fuse basically, and hopefully it makes some sounds while it's burning itself to death. So that's going to be a quick and dirty and fun project, I think. So
Did you say
That means-
see-through recorders?
yeah, they're made out of acrylic. So hopefully, then when you put the rocket fuel into flames, or then of course for a split second they will generate smoke and whatnot, so you will get some sound, and then of course there's going to be some red and yellow flames shooting out of them, and being see-through, that might be a good visual. I'm not sure, but I'm going to find out.
I mean, who made those? Are they like some kind of spit fetish? Because I mean, seeing someone play those, it cannot be nice.
Did not think about that, but
That's my initial thoughts as well, KJ.
Those are pervert recorders.
ooh, that's a clickbaity title.
And if they were made for schools, there's always one snotty kid in the class as well.
Yeah. Ew.
And
Just playing and coughing into it. And you can- Ugh.
and if you never had one in your class, it was you.
He's a snotty kid, and he always managed to get some dirt in his snot as well. Yeah.
And the problem is he's very often married today with kids and everything. And once you pop home to your old playgrounds and you see him, I'm like, yeah, that's the one. That's Mr. Snotty Lip McSnotterson there, eating everything he found in the schoolyard. Yep, now he's raising kids. How nice.
I mean,
Someone's got to keep the snotty kids going, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not so bad, but when you realize that, oh no, he's the doctor at the hospital now, or he's the chief of police, or something like that, you can't really respect that person.
He's the hygienist at the dentist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Open wide, I'm just gonna pry in there. I know where those fingers have been.
Yeah. Hell no, I take my chances with the gangrene. Oh.
Oh,
I don't know
yes.
where to go from here.
No, me neither. We should thank Andy for coming on as a guest last week.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yep.
because there is a chance he's listening to this, because this is not social media. So, I mean, I made a reel for the half pint today, and like, should I tag him? No, I mean that seems inappropriate now that he's on his hiatus. Then, and since we know, so I didn't tag him out of respect.
I tagged him with respect, because I mean, when you go off social media and then come back, you want it to look like you were missed. that people have sent you messages and tagged you in stuff. But if you go back and nothing has happened, no one has missed you. I mean, that's depressing.
What I thought was funny about his hiatus is that he doesn't actually post that often himself. So he's just taking a hiatus from everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's really hard not to take that personally, Andy.
True.
It's not me, it's you. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah, and speaking of ordering stuff, you're off the hook when it comes to that being a book dealer for me, Glenn.
Oh,
Because
yes.
when I actually looked hard, I found an option that actually delivered to Sweden for a reasonable price.
Ah, brilliant.
So you're off the hook. You don't have
Oh.
to worry about getting something with a weird import fee from overseas, because everything is mad over there.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be a problem for me. Yeah, no, it wasn't cheap to get it imported into this country either.
No, I mean the prices fluctuated weirdly different times I looked at it. So different vendors had different settings apparently. But yeah, no, I struck out. No, in whatever. It was nice.
You've sorted it out.
Yes, that kind of out. That was it. Yes.
Oh, fantastic! It was a. So when we looked up the book, it's basically one for the true fans, isn't it? That's why it's so hard to get hold of. It's only a small publication, isn't it?
Yeah.
So just read more common books and you'll be all right.
No common books. That's boring.
Michelle does we do a lot of book shopping in charity shops for Michelle, and every time we've gone in one looking at books, I've had a quick scan and just thought it'd be great just to pick it off the shelf for £2.
Yeah, I wouldn't have mind.
Definitely and if I do find one, I'll still buy it because it's worth a fortune in this country.
Yeah, you can resell it. Now you have found something to look for. That's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
That is of course the perk of being married to not only a book nerd but someone who actually works in a publishing company. So of course I have a lot of books signed to me because she just famous authors just wanders into their office and to have a chat and do you want to sign your book for my husband? Yeah, sure. But here the other day, one Norwegian writer, musician, TV celebrity, and comedian, which I really like, he has started making children's books, and of course he's publishing them through their company. And then she came home with one of his latest books, and it was signed to my youngest daughter. Where is my book? She doesn't even. I mean, he was on the top in the early 2000s. That's 3 decades before she was born. Where's my book? Maybe one day, maybe.
So a friend of a friend had a local guy had written a local history book on World War II, based in very much in this area, and I got wind that it's self-published, and so I got hold of a book, and it arrived and he'd not signed it, so I sent it back. So, come on, waited 2 more days and got it back signed. What's the point in knowing the author and not getting your book signed?
Exactly. Oh, that's funny though. I there is a few people, and there is one case I've heard about where a guy self-published a book about some boring topic or something, and of course it didn't sell. And after a while, of course, Amazon just dumps the prices, so you could get like a book for 5 cents or whatnot. And then a stand-up comedian just stumbled over that, and all right, this guy self-published 30,000 books, and they're like 5 cents. I can buy all of them, and he did. And that, of course, it skyrocketed numbers for that author because he sold out his entire print in like no time. So he ended up on the top of the bestseller lists for those weeks. But of course, the revenue on them was next to nothing. Of course, after Amazon took their cut, the author was next to nothing. And he had a big speech about what he could do with the books, because I basically own all his books now. So what can I do with them that would have been funny? So it's just droning about different things you could do to them. So yeah. And then of course it was like, should I burn all of them except one, make it that extremely valuable? It was on the top seller list in year 2019, and now it's only one book left in the world. So, yeah.
You'd have thought if they'd all sold out, he'd have to do a second run on the publishing, in which case the comedian could sell them back to the author.
I thought it was going to be one of those scams, like driving up the price, because...
Yeah, or if if he hated the author, I would understand it, because then he would think, all right, that's all the books, so I should put another print going, and then you just reflood them back to the market, so he's not going to sell the second one either. I should have been evil.
Oh,
that would have been so easy for me to be a villain.
Talking of evil, that little reel you shared with me the other day, the Noise War products, the Cricket. So it's a little electronic board, KJ, and it basically it makes a cricket sound every 15 to 30 minutes, and the battery lasts for 3 years.
So that's a way to drive someone insane.
You dump one in a house, in an office. It'd just be great.
I've seen those before, but when I found this, was it for like £10 or something like that? And it was basically the size of one of those mid-sized cell batteries, and it has a USB plug on it, so you could probably swap it for any sound you wanted. And that I have so many ideas for that one, and you can make it scream or whatnot. And I've seen some of them with a longer random function, because up to half an hour, with a bit of patience, you can pinpoint it. But I want the ones that randomly selects between, it might be 10 minutes to the next one, then it might be 2 days, and it might be an hour again, and then a day or two, and then you can have a screaming donkey or something, and you can just hide it at random places, and brilliant.
Just have it like a message sound from a phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a message. No,
that was.
I turned off the sound, didn't I? Why is it making a sound?
I think the best would be a smoke alarm that's run out of battery.
Yeah.
Because all the smoke alarms.
Yeah. That is brilliant. Because I remember the first time I saw one of them, and they were not very advanced, so they did not have a USB, and you could not upload audio to them. But you got a board that could mimic all the 5-6 different cell phone tunes, because at that time you had Nokia, and everybody had that one Nokia tune, and then you had Sony Ericsson and all the famous brands. They had their like in-house own tune, and you had all of those, and then you could just randomly leave that, and if you knew that they had a Nokia, you just switch the dial to that, and you just hit it, and then they would go crazy because their phones were ringing at random. But today that's not relevant anymore.
Maybe you should have a sound that's a vibrating phone. Or vibrating something else as well.
Like you haven't already.
Oh, I mean that's an elaborate prank, though. But if you start selling vibrating equipment for adults online with a built-in random functions just to fuck with people, so they think they're home safe, and then just
Random panties. Is that what you're thinking? For a more exciting life, you never know when you're going to get the tingle.
I saw. I've at some point I've heard about this condition, and of course now with the glory possibilities of internet, now I've seen it as well. It was a news outlet interviewing a guy that he had an accident at some point that hurt some nerves, and now he just at random times, like 50, 60 times during a day, have an orgasm. And they're just like, yeah,
60 times a day.
It happened
That's a
when
bit much.
yeah, and of course, first you think it's hilarious, and then, of course, yeah, that's a lot of times, isn't it? And then why he agreed to it, I do not know. But once they did the interview, and it was like walking outside, like you do when you're having interviews, like a 60 minutes kind of setting, and then he just like stopped and started to stare into the distance, and then he just had to like crouch down because he had what he called an episode. And it's like, yep, he just came. And then of course that happens 40 times a day, every day for the rest of his life. I mean, yeah, so that's going to be tiresome.
When you said 40 to 60 times a day, I just instantly thought, is that all?
Yeah,
Normal
it's just an
Wednesday for Glenn.
afternoon. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're
Jesus,
keeping a
that's
good
torture.
pace for your age. I mean, yeah, I'm.
Was there anything they could do for the guy? Can they disconnect something? I don't know.
I mean, at that point, I think I would have been desperate. Yeah, shut it down, please.
I've had enough to last a lifetime now, thank you.
Yeah, but if you get
Oh, you came very fast. It's a condition. Yeah, sure. That's what they all say.
the good thing, I guess, is it can't be that much fluids, because I mean you can't have you don't have not that much time building something up, so to say. So
True. Very true.
some moth and dust.
A cloud of dust. Oh.
Now everyone's imagining wonderful things.
Yeah. Oh.
Have you got anything to claw this episode back, or should we call it a day?
There's no recovering from this.
No, we can't beat this, I think.
Okay. Well,
Or
in
no.
which case,
Good night.
thanks for joining, and sorry about that one, guys.
Thanks for coming. See you next week.
Sorry and you're welcome. Please. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he said.
Please no more, I think is what he said.
Oh, just like this episode. Oh, stop the recording now, please.